Hello, guys. Welcome back to Maths Zone African Motives. We are still going to consider our revisions as we are preparing for our March test. So, this is Mpumalanga province. That was our March test, which was written in 2025. So, you're going to use previous question papers, all right, so that we can see how they can ask these typical questions. So it was out of 50 marks, and the time that you're required to write it is 1.5 hours. All right, so I'm not gonna waste your time. If you want to download the question paper, you can check the description of the video or you can check in the comment section. All right, make sure that you read all the instructions that you're given. Non-programmable calculators may be used, meaning to say where you need a calculator, you can use a calculator. And if necessary, answers should be rounded off to what? Two decimal places in case that you are dealing with decimals. You have to round off to two decimal places. All right, so I'm not going to waste your time, guys. Go through each and every part of the instruction. Let us have our questions. Question number one. One we are given, circle the letter of the correct answer in the answer book provided. 1.1. So there we are given our operations where we can apply our odd mass. All right, we have got addition, multiplication, subtraction, this and that. So brackets, we do not have division. Multiplication, we have the multiplication here. 3 and what? And 5. That's positive 3 times 5. That is going to be the part of our multiplication. So that's 10. 3 times 5, positive 3 times positive 5, that's what? Positive 15 minus 20, all right? So you're going to have to add, all right? Before subtraction, we need what? Addition. 10 plus 15, that is what? 25, all right? Minus 20. And from 25, if we subtract 20, we are going to remain with 5. So the best answer was going to be on D. All right, of which this you can just even verify with your calculator here. 10 plus 3 times 5 minus 20 as it is here. All right, that's what? A positive 5. Write the given ratio in simplest form. All right. Let us get rid of the zeros, divide by 10 by 10. All right. We're going to look for the highest common factor between 75 and 35. Or you can even reduce these numbers. All right. You can reduce the numbers and see 3 is 3 going to work? No. 4, 5. All right. 5 is going to work. Let's reduce by 5 here. That's 75 divided by what? By 5. 75 divided by 5 is going to give us what? 15 as 2. 35 divided by 5, which is what? 7. You can use your calculator. That's what? A 7. So this is 15 as to 7, all right, which is on C. So you can test the numbers, all right? Reduce by the numbers 2, 3, 4. But you can, as you are going to consider the numbers, you must obtain integers on your answer. You must have whole numbers, all right? Not just a matter of dividing and you're having a decimal, no. So that's why you must look for the highest common factor between the numbers, then divide by it, which is a 5. All right. 1.5 we are given. On 1.3, sorry. Martha was paid 360 Rand for working 24 hours. What was your hourly rate? So hourly rate, it is what you are being paid per hour. What you are being paid per hour. So that is the hourly rate. So that simply means What you are being paid, 360 rand. 360 over what? 24 hours. So it's going to give us the money that you're being paid per hour. 24 divided by what? 360 divided by 24. 360 divided by 24, that's what? 15. So it was going to be paid 15 rand per what? Per hour. That is the money that is being paid. 15 rand per what? Per hour. So the answer there was going to be what? Was going to be A. So 1.3, the best answer is A, where we are given 15. All right, let us move on. We are given on 1.4, the car travels at a distance of 80 kilometers in 30 minutes. Calculate its average speed. All right, so we are given this in kilometers per hour. Remember from our DST concept, speed is distance over what? Speed is distance over time. We are given the distance, all right, 80 kilometers. The time is in minutes. We must have this in hours. So remember, in an hour, we've got 60 minutes. So 30 minutes is going to be equal to how many hours? We have to divide 30 over what? 30 over 60. All right. So 30 over 60, that's 1 over 2 or 0, 0.5. 30 over 60, that is 1 over 2 or what? 0, 0.5 hours. So the time in hours is 0, 0.5. So that's our speed was going to be distance 80 kilometers. In kilometers, the time in hours, all right, 0, 0.5 hours. So we are going to have our speed in kilometers per what? Per hour. It's also part of the rate. All right, so divide 80 over what? 0, 0.5. That's 160 kilometers per what? Kilometers per hour, which is on what? Which is on C. So 1.4 was going to give us C. All right, multiply this, calculate the value of this. All right, you can just use a calculator. It's this 1 mark, guys, this one. Or you can do the proper multiplication. You're not told about. Do not use a calculator or that. So you can just use like this. That's 29,0758, which is on what? Which is on B. So this one, it is just 1 mark for the correct answer. You can just use your calculator or multiply properly. Question number 2 on 2.1, write 124 as a product of its prime factors. All right, 124. All right, there's a shorter way, but you're supposed to show the ladder diagram, this and that. But you can also do this on your calculator. 124 is equal to, then you're going to press shift, fact, shift, then you press fact. Shift, you press these dots, these ones, you're going to give your answer. But anyways, as a product of its prime factors, these are prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Those are the prime numbers and so on. So you have to try the smallest prime number, which is 2. Yes, 2 can work here. So divide by 2. 124 divide by 2. That's 62. Again, we try 2. Yes, it's going to work here. So divide by 2. 62 divide by 2. That is 31. So we cannot have a number that we can use on 31 because 31 is also a prime number. We do not have other factors besides 1 and 31 in 31. So 31 is a prime number. So we're just going to use that 31. 31 divided by 31 is going to give us a 1. So that's 124. 124 is equal to 2 times 2. All right, times what? 31. Or you can write this as 2 times 2, that is 2 squared times 31. So that is what you're going to have in this case. All right. So let us move on. Find the LCM on 2.2, the LCM of 12 and 18. So again, we're going to need the product of prime factors of these numbers 12 and 18. All right. So that's 12, 2. Right. I removed those prime factors 2, 3, 5, and so on. So 2 is going to work here. 12 divided by 2, that's a 6. All right. Divide by 2, that is going to give us a 3. 3 is a prime number, so you're just going to use it as it is. 3 divide by 3, that is going to give us a 1. So that's, in our case, 12 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3. All right. Then 18, smallest number, 2 is going to work. 18 divided by 2, that's a 9. So we're not going to use a 2. 2 is not going to work, guys. 9 divided by 2 gives us a decimal. We must have a whole number. So we move on to 3. 3, yes, it is a factor of what? 9. So we're going to use that. 9 divided by 3, that's a 3. Then 3 is a prime number, so just use a 3. 3 divided by 3 is going to be 1. So that's 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. All right. So meaning to say you can have the LCM. Remember, the LCM is the lowest common multiple. You must take every number that you see. But where we have numbers or terms that are common, you take where we have got many of those terms, like on the product here, 2 is, we have got many of these. We have got these ones here, the 3, all right? Or if you are to write it in exponential form like this, you are going to consider where you have got the highest exponent, all right? That is the LCM. You have to take where you've got many of these 2s, many of these 3s. So that's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So 2 times 2, that's 4, times 3 times 3, that is 9. So that was going to give us 36 at the end. So that is what you're going to have for the LCM, all right? Or simply, the LCM was going to be 2, where we have got a lot of these, the highest exponent, 2 squared, 3, the highest exponent, 3 squared. So that's it at the end, just one and the same. So that is your LCM. Different ways that you can obtain it. Just try to work out more questions on that. Determine the percentage decrease. There is a decrease. You're already told that there is a decrease. If a chocolate costs 10 rand, is marked down to 7. All right, it is marked down to 7. There is a decrease there. So a percentage decrease is going to be simply the original price that you had, the actual price that you had, minus the decrease. So that's 10 minus 7 over the original price, which is what? Which is 10 times 100%. Original price minus that. So that's 10 minus 7, which is 3. That's a decrease. This one, it's a decrease, this one. Original price minus what we had, it was decreased by what? By 7. So we have got a decrease of what? Of 3 over what? The original price times 100%, just like that. So that was going to give us a percentage. 0 and 0 can cancel. 3 times 10, that's what? 30%. Or you can just use a calculator. So that is how these questions can be given, as it is just a matter of revision. All right, let us move on to 2.4. We are given that on 2.4, Ashley, Sipo, and Zo, you don't know how you're going to pronounce that, are 3 brothers, aged 5, 4, and 2, respectively. Together, the brothers get 880 rand each month. All right, pocket money each month. This is the money that they are going to get each month. If the total pocket money, we are talking about what? The total here. So if that total pocket money is split, is being shared, that is to split, in the same ratio as their ages, how much will Sipho get? The money was being shared in the ratio of what? Their ages. So what is the ratio of their ages? The ratio of their ages is given from their ages respectively. 5 as to what? As to 4, as to 2. As 5 represents Ashley, 4 is for what? For Sipho, and 2 is for Zo. So we are given that this is their ages, the ratio of their ages. Since they are going to share a total of the pocket money, you must also have the total of their ratios. So the total of their ratios is what? You must add 4 plus this. 5 plus 4 plus 2. That was going to give us 9 plus 2, which is 11. This is the total of their ratio. Total in terms of the ratio. Since you are to share the total pocket money, you must have what? The total of the ratio. So they are saying, how much will Sipho get? What is the share of what? Of Sipho. All right. So let us have Sipho's what? Share. So according to the share, she got how much? According to the ratio. Sipho here has got what? 4 according to ratio. 4 parts. These are parts out of 11 parts. She got what? 4 parts of the ratio. So that is 4 of what? The total ratio 11. This is Sipho's share in terms of the ratio 4 over 11. If it was Ashley, 5 out of 11. But what is it now in terms of the amount, the money that that obtained? Because we are told that how much of the total pocket money. So you multiply to the total of the pocket money, because we also have that total of what? Of the pocket money. We have that total 880. So you must multiply to the total of what they are sharing. They are sharing a total of what? 880 rand. So that was Sipho's share. Just like that. So on this part, guys, you can even just use your calculator here. 4 over what? 11 times. You move aside and put the multiplication. 880. That is going to give us 320. So she obtained 320 rand out of that. Or you can just use your understanding of numbers here. 11 into this, that's 80. And 4 times 8 is 320. It's up to you. Or you can just use the calculator. All right. On 2.5, a packet of apples cost 22 rand, excluding VAT, excluding the value added tax. Excluding the value added tax. The value added tax is not included in this. All right. What will be the price of apples once 15% is added? So when we do not have the value added tax, our VAT, when it is not included, it means the price will be at 100%. This is the price that the shop owner wishes to be like to be selling the product. All right, the shop owner will be like, all right, let me sell this product at this amount, 22 rand. So that price will be at 100%. It is at what? 100% in terms of the percentage, this one. Excluding VAT. When the value added tax is now, once we add, because it is an added tax, this one, once we add, it means our percentage increases 100 plus 15. We now have tax. It will be at 115%. So you are now asking yourself to say, at 115%, what is the price now? What is the cost price? What will be the cost price at this percentage? That is the condition. What is going to be the price at this condition? Or you calculate, because this is 15% added tax. So you calculate 15% of that amount that you're given, 22 rand. You calculate 15% of that. 15% means 15 over what? 15 over 100. Times what? Times 22. You calculate it like this. So it's going to be 3,3. So this is the added tax, this one. This is our value added tax in terms of the amount. Here it was given as a percentage. So you simply add it to the original price where we're not having tax. So including what? Including our value added tax. It will be 22 rand plus what? 3 rand 30. So you simply add 22 plus 3 is going to be what? 25.30. That is how you can get it. But from this now you have to consider to say, all right, what I'm calculating here at 115% definitely is going to be more. So how do I have the value? It's going to be the bigger percentage over the smaller one. 115 over 100 times the amount that you're given of 22 rand. So that is going to give us the amount, the cost, the price of apples. Once the 15% is been added, it is already added here. We have already added that percentage. But on this one, we calculated 15% separately. So we have to add that now to the cost price, the actual cost price at 100%. But on this one, we are not going to add anything. The value that we are going to obtain here is our answer. 115 over 100 times what? Times 22. That is going to give us 25.30. 25.30. That is what we have, the same as this part. So there are so many ways of calculating this. I have explained this on separate videos. Make sure that you watch so that you properly understand the basics. All right, this is revision. I might not explain everything because it's revision, but if you go through the introductions, everything that you need is there. Question number 3, we are given calculate the following. 3.1 negative 23 minus negative 18. All right, so that is simply understanding your signs here. A minus and minus gives us what? A positive. So this simply gives us negative 23 plus what? 18. Remember, when you are dealing with directed numbers like these guys, what you do is that when the signs are different, like what you see here, you're going to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. You subtract that. So it's 23 minus 18, all right, which is going to give us a 5. Then you take the sign of the bigger number. If the signs are different like this, but if the signs are the same, you add these numbers. 23 plus 23 plus 8, that's 31. And you use the common sign, the sign that is common on your answer, negative 31. But if the signs are different, subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. Then use the sign of the bigger number on your answer, minus. So that is how you can play around with this. All right, here it is 2 into this bracket. All right, we can simply work out the bracket. All right, 8 minus 3, or you can start with addition. It's up to you. 8 minus 3, that is what? 5. 5 plus 4, that is 9. So this is 2 times 9. 2 into 9 means 2 times 9. So 2 times 9, that is 18. All right. 3.3, 3 to the exponent of 3, that is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27. plus minus 2 to the exponent of 2. Remember, when a negative is raised to an even number, it is going to be positive. So 2, that's an even number, so it's going to be positive 2 squared, which is 4. Then we add, all right? So take note, guys, 3 to the exponent of 3. It's not 3 times 3, no. It's 3 times 3, 3 times, all right? So you're going to add 27 plus 4, that is going to be what? 31. So this was going to give us 31. Check your memo. They just made a mistake on 3 to the exponent of 3. That is 3 times 3 times 3. All right. So let us save this. 3.4. The square root of 16, that is 4, plus negative 1 to the exponent of 3. This is an odd number, so it's going to remain as a negative 1. All right. So we have got a plus and a minus. That is going to give us a minus. 4 minus 3, 4 minus 1, that is what? That is 3. So we already have our answer on this one. All right, just like that. Just like that. Let us see. 3.5. We have got... all right, we can apply our BODMAS, the operation of our brackets. So it's going to be negative 6. 3 times negative 4, that's positive negative, that's a negative. 3 times 4, that's a 12. All right, here just multiply these two again. Minus 3 times 4, that's minus 12. Everything over what? That's a bracket here. So according to BODMAS, we must consider those brackets. 2 plus 3. Which is what? Which is 5 times negative 3. All right, so this is where we are. Let us simplify further. Minus 6, minus 12, minus 12. Let us simply, we are going to the left, guys. We are simply going to add this. 12 plus 12, that's 24. 24 plus 6, that is 30. So it is going to be minus 30 as we are going to the what? To the negative. So it's going to be more negative, minus 30. 5 times minus 3, that's minus 15. Positive to negative, that's a negative. So we can divide this here. 15 into 30, guys, that's a 2. Or you can just use a calculator for that. All right, let us move on to question number 4. Calculate the following without the use of a calculator. This time, no calculators, guys. So, all right, this is a division on 4.11. Let us convert to an improper fraction. So here you multiply, here you add. 3 times 3, that's 9, plus 2, that's 11 over 3, divided by 4 over 7. Remember, where there is a division, you introduce multiplication and invert or change the second fraction. Just tip over the second fraction. So it's going to be 7 over 4. You change that. All right. Check if there is anything common between the numerator and denominator. But in this case, there is nothing common. So we cannot reduce anything. Just multiply the numerators together. 11 times 7, 77. 3 times 4, that's a 12. All right. So 12 into 77 is going to be how many times? It's going to be 6. All right. That's 12. 6 plus 1, that's 72. So into 72, that's 6 times. So you're going to have a remainder. 77 minus 72, that's a remainder of what? A remainder of 5. So it's going to be 5 over 12. All right. Then 4.12. Again, it is a division. So take note, 10 is same as 10 over 1. So it was going to be 10 over 1 times. You introduce multiplication here and change or interchange the second fraction. So that's 2 over 3. Again, there's nothing common. So just multiply the numerators together. 10 times 2, that's 20. Over 1 times 3, that's a 3. 3 into 20, that's into 18. It's going to be 6 times into 18. And 20 minus 18, that's a remainder of 2. Over what? Over 3. All right, so this one was a little bit direct. All right, let us change on 4.13. Let us convert this to an improper fraction. So multiply, then add 3 times 1, that's 3, plus 2, that's 5. So it was going to be 5 over 3 squared. Remember the concept when you've got a bracket, everything is affected. So it's going to be 5 squared, 5 times 5, which is what? 25 over what? 3 also being squared. 3 times 3, which is 9. So that is it. 9 into 25, that is going to be 9, 18, 2 times into 25. All right. So that is going to be 2 times into 18, and 25 minus 18. That's what? That's going to be 7. Remember 7 over 9. So that's something like that. 2 and 7 over 9. Also check your memo. It just made a mistake. It's not supposed to be 1. It's 2 times into 18. All right. So that was it. Simplify the square root of this. All right. So there we're just going to determine the square root of each part. Square root of 25, that is 5. The square root of 49, that is what? A 7. The number that multiplies itself to give us 49 is 7. 5 times 5 is 25. So the square root is going to be a 5. You are done. All right. The cube root of 8. All right. That's 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is going to give us what? 8. So for you to know this, you must know that 2 cubed is 8. So that you know that the cube root of 8 is simply a 2. The cube root of 27, that's what? A 3. All right. So you're going to add to this 1 squared, which is 1 over 2 squared. 2 times 2, that's 4. So it's 2 over 3 plus 1 over 4. So this is what you are having. So what we can do is to make sure that the denominators are the same. So to make sure that these denominators are the same, simply interchange these what? Denominators. 4 affects here, 3 affects this side. So this is what I'm trying to say. You're going to multiply by 4 here over 4. 3 multiplies this side. 3 times what? 3 over 3. So that this is going to give us 2 times 4, that is 8. 3 times 4, that is 12. Plus 1 times 3, that's 3. 4 times 3, that's 12. If the denominators are the same, remember that you can simply add what? Your numerators. 8 plus 3 over what? Over 12. So that's 11 over 12, just like that. You can simply add what? You can simply add the numerators under the same denominator that you are given. All right. On question number 5, calculate and show all your working 5.11 0.12 times this. Remember, decimals can be converted. You can convert them to common fractions. So 12, 0.12, you look into the number after the comma, that's a 12. So it's 12 over what? How many decimal places do we have? 1, 2. So it's over 100 times. The number that we see there is 6 over what? How many decimal places? 1, 2 over 100. It's easier for you to multiply this. All right, 12 times 6, that's 72. That's 12 here. 6 plus 1, 72. So it's going to be 72 over 100 times 100. It's easier for you to multiply. Just take the zeros, combine them together. So we've got 4 zeros like this. So this is what we have. And as a decimal, 72 divide by 1, it's going to be what? 10,000. You can simply move the commas to the left. Division, you simply move the commas to the left like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number of zeros that you have, 4 of them. So that is going to be, that's our comma here. So it's going to be 0, 0072. You put zeros in these grooves. So that's 0072. You can simply have it in an easier way like that. Dividing by 10,000, you simply move 4 commas to the what? To the left. Multiplication, we move to the right. All right. There are so many ways. Just use the way that you understand. Decimals, you can simply multiply 0.12 times 0.06. Ignore the commas, multiply the number 6 times 2. That's 12, 1. 6 times 1, 6 plus 1, that's 72. Then the number, our answer is supposed to have 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. These decimal places after the comma. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You put zeros where you do not have decimal places. So it's going to be comma 1, 2, 3, 4. We must have 4 decimal places. So that is it. So many ways of having this one. All right, here it's a division again. 64. So that's 64 over what? 1, 2, 3. So that's over 1,003 zeros. Divided by 0.4. So that's 4 over what? 1 decimal place. So that's over 10. Remember, division, we have to introduce multiplication, then change the second fraction. So it's 64 over 1,000 times, you're going to change this, and it's going to be 10 over 4. All right, so that's it. This one and this one can cancel. 4 into 4, that's 1. Into 64, that's going to be 1, remainder 2. That's going to be 16, all right? 64 divided by 4. That's 16, all right? So this is 16 over 100. This is what you're going to have, because you're going to multiply 16 times 1. That's 16 over 100 times 1. That's 100. And you can simply move 2 commas to the left as you are dividing by what? By 100. Simply move 2 commas to the left. 1, 2. So our comma is here. So it's going to be 0.16, because the comma is here. So that's 0.16. Just like that. So many ways you can do this, guys, in so many ways. So many ways of answering this type of a question. Just try to apply the way that you understand. All right. 5.13, 0.7 to the exponent of 3. That simply means 0.7 times 0.7 times 0.7. So that's 7 times 7, 49. 49 times 7, that's 343. So how many decimal places are we going to have? 1, 2, 3. Our answer must have 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3 already. So that's going to be 0.343. So just multiply the number 7 times 7 times 7. And your answer is supposed to have what? 3 decimal places, like what you're having from your product. So yeah, it's unfortunate that I did not introduce this topic. I'm going to introduce this so that you can understand more, because yes, just revision, guys. Revision. I'm not gonna explain much. I'm just gonna explain the basics. All right, 5.14. The square root of this, it's easier also to have it as a fraction. 16 over what? How many decimal places? 2 decimal places. So that's over 100. What is the square root of 16? We know it. It's a 4. What about the square root of 100? 10 times 10 gives us 100. So the square root of 100 is 10. 4 over 10, that's 1 decimal to the left. That's 0.4. So the comma is here, so it's going to be 0.4. You just move 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. That is what we need. 10, 1, 0 there. So you're just going to move 1 comma. We are moving the commas. The comma is here on a whole number, so you move 1 to the left. So it's going to be like this. So the comma is it's like comma 4. Comma 4, what does it mean? 0.4. Just like that. So guys, methods of simplifying these decimals, considering multiplication. There are so many ways. So it needs us to work with the introduction so that you can verify with the way that you understand, the way that you have been taught in class. Use those ways to verify and apply other ways, all right, that you understand. You're still going to obtain same answers. So that was it for this revision of our match. 50 marks for that. So please do revise as many questions as you can. Do more question papers so that you can understand the basics of what is needed in your examinations.